As we read through the scriptures very early on, we see that God reveals himself to us as Father. And as a father, he puts his own image in us. And we see that in that image, it is a good image. And we see this very early on in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 27. And as a good father, he also gives us a good identity. This good identity that he places on our lives is something that comes from who the Father is in sending us his very own Son to die and rise on our behalf. And from this, we get a good identity. And there's a really helpful little tool that we can use as we read through the scriptures and in our discipleship to Jesus that we call the gospel identity triangle. And it illustrates and it starts with God being a good father. And from being a good father, he actually gives to us an identity. And from this good identity that he gives to us through Jesus, we then live in loving obedience to the Father. And it flows out of that good identity. And we see this dynamic play itself out in 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 through 21. And it's here that we see that our God is not only a good father, but that he is a God of love. And as a God of love, through Jesus, he gives us an identity as his beloved. And as his beloved, abiding in the love of the Father, then we surrender to that love and we live out of that surrendering love to love and serve other people in loving obedience to the Father. And it flows in this direction. And we quickly realize that it doesn't flow in the other direction, that it's not our striving in obedience that we earn a good identity, and it's not a striving in obedience that we try to earn our way to the Father, but the good Father has already loved us because he is love and has sent his Son to die and rise on our behalf and give us that good identity as sons and daughters of the Father. And when we live out of that good identity and live out of that love that the Father has already given to us, then we can operate in loving obedience to that, to love and serve others the way that God has loved and served us. And this helpful little tool, again, is called the Gospel Identity Triangle.